Hadrut is Karabakh's diamond. It's not the residents of Hadrut who say this. It's what the great Shakespearean actor Varam Papazian has said in the mid-1950s. This building that you see here used to be our cultural center, where Varam Papazian played Othello. Prior to his performance, he said something very interesting, that if Karabakh is a gold ring, then Hadrut is its diamond. Devastated by the Karabakh War, the city of Hadrut no longer shines as it once did. But what does shine brightly is the irrepressible optimism of its denizens. There were days when over 4,000 shells rained down on Hadrut. There was not a single home that hadn't been severely damaged. Of course, there was no electricity for a long time, and gas service was restored much later. But today we're overcoming our difficulties, with the hope that the independence of Artsakh will at last be recognized, that Artsakh will flourish. As they wait for the day when Karabakh will attain its final victory, Hadrut residents are somewhat embarrassed to complain about their day-to-day problems. This is one thing that sets them apart from residents of developing cities elsewhere in the world. We now have regular access to natural gas in our homes, and thank God we get water too. This is the second year that we have access to water. It's not around the clock, and some days there isn't any, but we do get water. We have nothing to complain about. This is the 5th year that the whole of Hadrut city has regular access to natural gas. The gas network was built by Armenia Fund. Having completed the gas infrastructure project, Armenia Fund is currently rebuilding Hadrut's potable water network. Already, the city's most water-strapped neighborhood has around-the-clock access to water. By the end of the year, water will reach all of the remaining neighborhoods as well. The plan is to complete the construction of the internal water distribution network and regulation reservoirs by the end of 2015. Armenia Fund's work is not limited to Hadrut. It encompasses all of Karabakh. Even in far-flung areas such as Martager, Shahumyan, and Kashatagh, we see magnificent projects being implemented by the organization. We are so very grateful to Armenia Fund for carrying out such wonderful improvements. Arpik Khasapetyan is a retired editor. She observes everything with the sharp eye of a journalist. To her, white is white and black is black, she says. She thinks today's press, obsessed with scandals, neglects to feature genuinely great individuals. Let accomplished individuals, hard-working people, appear on the pages of newspapers. Khasapetyan was the chief editor of Hadrut's regional newspaper. Even before the collapse of the Soviet Union, she changed the paper's communist name to Dizak, which is the historic Armenian name of Hadrut. Incidentally, we were the first to get rid of the communist slogan, "Proletarians of all countries unite," from the front page of our newspaper. Dizak is still published today, featuring mainly success stories about Hadrut. The city also has its own independent chronicler, namely 85-year-old Grandpa Rafik. He too likes to focus on the bright side of things. He says this year the harvest will be as abundant as it was half a century ago. This year will be exactly as it was in 1966. Provided the weather doesn't get too cold, everything from wheat to fruits will be bountiful. Last year was bad. It was a replay of 1955. Not even a plum would grow in these parts. No one doubts Grandpa Rafik's memory. After all, he vividly remembers an ugly incident from the time he was 5 years old. He was with his mother visiting Baku for the first time, when Azeris called them dirty Armenians. I remember everything, starting with that visit in Baku. Back in those days, the Azeris were even more abusive toward the Armenians than they are now. You should have heard the insults they hurled. They hated us. Despite having done business with Azeris for 30 years in Akhdam's marketplace, Baluyan has never forgotten the insult that he heard in Baku as a little boy. The scar of that insult was to be erased by Karabakh's War of Liberation. Now Hadrut has plans to erect a memorial in honor of the freedom fighters who won the war. Those plans will be put into action as soon as Hadrut's water issue is completely resolved.